Good day everyone, Kuripot here and welcome to today's vlog. Today, we will be talking about Kakeibo! A little backstory as to how I was able to obtain this is that I saw this one in one of the local bookstores here in CDO. And the title itself is very catchy because it says the Japanese art of saving money. I thought all along that this would be a book intended to teach us how the Japanese are saving their money. Little did I know that when I got home and opened this, it is a workbook. This means that 90% of the book, or even close to 99, would be filled by you. So there would be a few pages that you can read in order to get started with this Kakeibo method, but the rest, it is all yours to fill it up. If ever you encounter this and have worksheets or workbooks, make sure to only use pencils so that you can be able to erase entries. And once you are done, at least you can be able to recycle the workbook and work on it again. At least you can be able to save a lot of money in the process. But the first few weeks, I actually wrote in pens. So I was not able to erase it, but guaranteed for the rest of the year and for the rest of the months, I will be using pencil so I can be able to erase and recycle this workbook because let me tell you, as early as now, it is a wonderful workbook to have. So today, we are going to look inside this one and exactly what's the method of Japanese people in order to save money and how they are actually budgeting. The first few pages of this Kakeibo workbook involves and talks about what Kakeibo is, how it became popular, its premise, tips, and how you can fill this workbook up. Basically, this is a budgeting journal that lets you identify exactly how much is your saving goals and what is your spending looks like. The premise is actually very simple and easy to follow. First is you sit down before a new month begins. You identify exactly how much you want to save up for the month and then draw out some actions as to how you can be able to reach for that saving goal. So basically, it's very much similar to the 52 weeks money challenge, but this is taken on a month's basis. So you need to know as early as before the next month begins exactly how much you would want to save and then draw out some actions as to how you can reach that saving goal. Apart from that, it also has a review and a reflection phase, which I personally like because it will now give you a glimpse as to how much did you save up for 1 week, for example, and then you can be able to total that up until a whole month ends and then identify how you can improve. Not only in terms of your spending, but also your saving goals. So you can be able to increase your saving goals in case that you still have money left at the end of 1 month. And then you can be able to draw out a better action plans on how to improve your savings. With that being said, it's not really very hard or difficult to follow the Kakeibo step because I must say this is very, very reflective of how one would budget, and it can really give a glimpse of how we are spending money, where our money is going, and the root of it all is that it makes savings a part of your everyday life. Not an afterthought after you are done spending your money or your income for the month. It actually started with how much is your goal to save, and you can be able to do action plans from there. The Kakeibo method was actually first popularized by Hani Mokoto in 1904. In the 20th century, this has been strongly promoted by the Japanese government to enable low-income households to still have savings and money. There are actually many types of Kakeibo if you just research online, but the point of this entire method is to actually keep track of our income and our expenditure. As such, there are many things you can learn as to how the Japanese people approach their personal finance, but this particular workbook will actually highlight two. And those are: saving money is about spending money well, and divide your spending into must and wants. So basically, for the first one, in which saving money is about spending money well, it actually talks about long-term lifestyle changes. Like, there's actually no size fits all in terms of how you can approach your personal finance, but definitely the backbone as to how we emerge better and stronger in terms of tackling money, our income, our expenses, is to actually make it a part of our lives. No wonder this particular Kakeibo method actually works, because if you will not notice it, even in the process of journaling and writing your expenditures and your income, it actually makes it a way of life. And finally, the second hot tip is divide your spending into must and wants. This is actually where it all breaks out and breaks down, simply because a lot of personal finance people and advisors will actually tell you to identify if an expense is a need or a want. A good example is, we all need to eat, but eating at expensive restaurants or fancy ones is considered as a want. It's not a need at all. But the thing and the beauty about this Kakeibo is that it actually helps you lay out during your first journaling entry the utilities that you need to pay, then identify how much you want to save, and what will be your action plans as to how you can achieve that saving goal that you wrote. So let's get inside as to basically how you can fill up this Kakeibo workbook. The Kakeibo Cycle actually has, if you can be able to see this one, it actually has a 4-stage cycle, and it actually begins by how much money do you have available. So it actually construes how much money is coming into your household. Second thing that you need to look at is how much you would like to save. So basically, you need to stipulate how much is your saving goal for the month. The third one is how much are you spending. So this will now help you outline the utilities, the bills that you need to actually pay off. And finally, how you can improve. So the fourth one is more of a reflection phase, so that you can be able to identify if you reach your saving goal for the month. You can be able to look and assess within yourself, like, how can you better improve your saving if you happen to reach it, or if not, it will also give you a good reflection phase, like what are the things you need to eliminate, what are the action plans you need to continue so you can better reach your saving goal. The Kakeibo is a very easy to follow workbook. There are 3 phases that will get you started in terms of writing out or doodling here. The first phase is your spending plan. The second phase is your weekly spending. And finally, the last phase is the review plan. So there are actually numbers written here for you to be guided on each phase. So let's talk first on the first phase, which is the spending plan. In the spending plan, the first thing you need to fill up is actually how much money do you have coming in. The good thing about Kakeibo is that it has no dates, it even has no months. So you can actually fill up a month that you want to get started. So you can even begin at the middle of the year or even at the end of the year. So again, the first thing that you need to do under the spending plan is to identify how much money is coming in the household. So if you have sources of income, business income and whatnot, you need to be able to put those up in the first part. The second part is you need to be able to list down the money going out. This refers to the fixed expenses that you need to pay for each month, such as rent, utilities like electricity, water, other bills like your postpaid plans or your cable plans. So basically, these are the items that you are going to pay at a fixed rate on a monthly basis. The third one, or the third step, is you are simply going to deduct your income minus the total of the money going out. So basically, that is how much money is available to you. The fourth one is, or the fourth step is, based on the money that is available, you need to identify how much money do you want saved this month. So for example, if your total income coming in on step 1 is 20,000 and the total money coming out is, for example, 10,000. So for step 3, you will only have 10,000 money available for you. For the fourth step is now you identify how much savings you would want realized for the month. For example, if you want to have a saving goal of 5,000, you write the 5,000 in the fourth step. In the fifth step now is you will now identify exactly how much would now be your spending in order to realize the 5,000 saving goal. So if the money made available for you is only 10,000 and you would want to save 5,000, hence you will only have 5,000 spending for 1 month. You are going to divide the remaining 5,000 for each month, hence you will only have at most 1,250 weekly spending. So you can be able to realize your saving goal. Apart from that, it also has notes found at the bottom in case you would want to identify if there will be sudden changes in your spending. Like for example, if there are birthdays, if there are gifts you need to buy that will not fit in here, or if there are even some additional incomes coming in your way, at least you will have the notes that will serve you as a guide as you progress through the workbook. The second phase of the Kakeibo is your weekly spending, and this is actually a personal favorite of mine because it actually keeps track of your spending on a weekly basis. So the first one is you need to be able to fill your weekly spending budget. And second is to identify categories such as food, gas, for example, leisures, and whatnot. It basically is very open in terms of the categories. So there are suggestions to get you started. But more often than not, it is actually your preference and your choice what particular category. And then you will have the varying days like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if there are spending for food, for example, on a Monday, you simply list that down as to how much would be the food, and after the day or at the end of the day, you are going to total exactly how much you have spent for an entire day. At the end of the week is you are also going to tally how much is your total per category and how much is your total weekly spending. After that is, again, a personal favorite of mine is you also get to be able to review and check if you haven't exceeded the limit. So going back to the example that we had on the first phase, given our 20,000 income in which you are going to spend only 1,250 to realize a 5,000 monthly saving goal, this weekly spending plan will actually help you identify if you have exceeded the 1,250 limit that you have imposed upon yourself prior to the beginning of the week. So it it actually is a good journal, I must say, especially if you still don't have a means to keep track of your expenses. This particular workbook will actually help you through that. I would highly suggest that you dedicate a day before the day ends to actually put up and simply enter whatever would be your spending for the day. What I normally do for myself is I actually keep track of my spending using the calendar of my phone, because this is like a book, right? So I don't usually bring this up every day. And then at the end of the day, like before I head to bed, I actually just get out my calendar and identify my expenses there and plot it in accordance to the category. And then I total it for the end of the day so that I can be able to keep track as to how much I am spending every day. And then prior to the beginning of next week, like on a Sunday, I will have to tally all my expenses for the week. So at least I'll be able to identify which particular category I have the most expenses, and then which ones I have a lot, I spent a lot. And then I can be able to tally up like how much is my weekly spending. So it will now give you a room, a realization room and a reflection room that, hey, it seems this week we spend a lot on ordering food online. So at least it will now give you an idea for next week, like, okay, this shouldn't be the case. We need to jot down or dwindle down on this particular expense and whatnot. And that's the thing about journaling, because it's some sort of a reflection as to how are you spending your money, or if you are spending much or you're spending less. It will really give you an overview of how well you are spending your money. So that is the second phase, which is the weekly spending. Finally, we are down to the third phase, which is the spending review by the end of the month. So basically, this will now help you jot down like how much would be your available money that you can be able to spend. It will also ask how much did you actually want to save, how much was your actual spending, and in reality, how much did you save by the end of the month. But more than that, there are really good questions that will really make you reflect as to how did you spend your money for the month. Like questions, did you meet your saving goal for this month? So apart from only answering yes or no, it will give you a lot of lines that will let you really reflect that if yes, what were the key things that you did, and if not, how can you better improve for the next month? The next question that this Kakeibo workbook asks is, what ways did you do to save money? So let's say, for example, if you bring food to the office rather than buying food online or ordering food online, at least you can be able to put here and write down what were your Kuripot tips in order to help save money. The next question is, what are the areas that you want to improve on? So at least it will now give you a very good reflection on what would be the better things you can do for this month. And finally, what will be the changes that you would want implemented next month? So basically, it will really give you a good reflection questions on the things that you actually did, the things that you were able to achieve, and finally, what were the ways that you can better improve on? And since it's a journal, at least you can be able to reflect. For example, if you are now done with the first few months, you can always go back on the things that you have written here, and then you can be able to keep track of your progress as you go through each month. This really is a very good workbook that I must say that you must have in case it's readily available in your locality. And I think you can be able to order this one online, simply because if you are having a hard time realizing a saving goal, for example, or if you are having a hard time to identify where you can record your expenses for the week or for the month, this could be a very good workbook for you to get started. And I must say, I'm already down with the first month of January. it really is a good reflection tool. Like, are you really spending your money well? Are you already in the hint of hitting your saving target or not? And basically, it will tell you how you can better improve yourself and to spend your money and your saving money. So again, the Kakeibo method is a very realistic workbook, I must say, because more than anything, it actually asks you first how much money coming in, what are your outgoing expenses, like your fixed expenses, and finally asking the right question, how much you would want to save for this month, and how much would be your weekly spending in order to achieve that saving goal you would want. So in case you are really having a hard time, this would be a very good workbook that will really handhold you throughout the journey, because again, it helps you keep track from your daily to your weekly and gives you a reflection time by the end of the month. So again, this is sold in your local bookstore. You can even Google this in case you would want to get it ordered online. By all means, there are already a lot of ways. And in case you don't want to spend, if you are so Kuripot like me, there are already a lot of worksheets available online so that you can print it out, you can screenshot, and you can be able to now implement your very own Kakeibo method as a workbook at your own pace. So I hope that you get to enjoy the Kakeibo as much as I enjoyed it, and I hope you are going to implement a Kakeibo method in the next few days or in the next few weeks. And I hope you can be able to comment back in your Kakeibo journey. Should you want to share, you can always message me on my Facebook and my Instagram handle, or you can leave a comment here on this video. If you were able to learn something new, do not forget to hit like and subscribe, and you can always hit the bell button beside so you will be notified of my newly uploaded videos every week. This has been Kuripot Pinay, and thank you again for watching. Happy Ipon, everyone!